Hey guys, welcome back. I know it's been a long time, but I did I'm pretty much done my school now, so I'm gonna try to make some more videos if I can. I did have a couple more games I had lined up, but the VODs actually expired because of how long ago they were, so I'm gonna need some new ones. Anyways, this is going to be a unconventional matchup, but I figured I may as well cover it. It's somewhat interesting, and hopefully the long-term ideas is useful. I'm not going to be analyzing individual decisions nearly as much this game, and more talking over how you should be approaching the matchup and the long-term goals. So as you can see, this is a Soraka Tahm Kench mirror. The first thing you should know in this matchup is that the game is going to be entirely decided by Star Springs. It is not going to be decided by Nexus damage. And in fact, Nexus damage will be detrimental to you winning the game because broadback protectors will not only completely negate almost all the damage you can do, but it will also proceed with your opponent's Star Springs. So in the main goal of this game is going to be winning through Star Springs, and you're basically not going to be touching the Nexus at all. So obviously and the other key card aside from Star Spring will be Tahm Kench. Now the way Tahm Kench works is very unique because the player who plays Tahm Kench first will have an advantage, assuming they are played on separate turns, and also if they are both played on the same turn, or in any scenario where both players have a Tahm Kench and neither player has a Tahm Kench's generated card, what happens is that the person who has the attack token next turn will have the advantage because they'll be able to play their slow speed Devour first. However, this becomes flipped if the person that doesn't have the attack token next turn has a Bastion and the other one doesn't, because that basically adds a one-turn buffer so that they can get the priority when it comes to devouring. But this gets again countered if the player who does have the attack token has Hush to counter the Bastion. So again, it's going to be very dependent on hands. You don't have the necessary information to know how it works. But if one player gets to play their Tahm Kench first and the other player doesn't have Tahm Kench right away, it is going to be a distinct advantage. Now, simply because both players could have either card. So now, obviously, you full mull for Star Spring and Tahm Kench. And so what's going to happen is you're going to be focusing on self-damaging your own units while preventing damage to your opponent's units. That's pretty much what's going to happen. Cards like Shakedown are going to help. Cards like Fortune Croaker are amazing. The self-damage cards in general are going to be the key cards. So now, again, I'm not going to be talking about individual decisions as much. So playing this one drop, I mean, with Fortune Croaker, you should do it. And now, here you should not attack. His opponent passes, but you definitely don't attack for the reasons I stated earlier. You don't want to be damaging their nexus because when they play Broadback Protector, you're just giving them 2 free Star Spring progress. I think that's how Broadback Protector works, unless he takes 3 damage either way. Now here, when our opponent passes, you definitely should not be playing your Star Spring. You can play it next turn. Your opponent has the attack token. If you play your Star Spring, they can just play anything that challenges your units, especially if they survive the trade, such as, for example, the Boxtopus. They'll just eat your 1-drop, and then, I mean, there's just no reason to take the Star Spring now, because the thing is, you're not going to be healing any more damage by playing Star Spring now. If you play Star Spring next turn, it's going to heal all of this damage anyway, and you're going to have... and it's just not going to give you any benefit. Because you're not going to add any more damage in between. That's really remotely worth this trade-off you're taking. So now our opponent gets the Hired Gun, which is just clean and not good. Now again, you normally in normal matchups, you might look at this and go, oh, I'll just open attack. You know, what's he gonna do? Have Pale Cascade? I can counter that. No, you don't. They'll just tank the 2 damage and be like, thank you for giving me Star Spring stacks. So now it's important to note that Fake Hero has more Star Spring stacks, but his opponent has Tahm Kench. So that's going to be the main advantage Fake Hero has versus his opponent, as you can see. So now, actually, Guiding Touch gets cycled here, which is good. And so if his opponent had Pale Cascade, that would have been kind of bad, actually. So I'm actually not sure if that was ideal, but there are open decks. Maybe his opponent doesn't run Pale Cascade, I'm not sure. So here, again, his opponent doesn't want to play Tahm Kench's Devour as long as Fake Hero has 4 or more mana, because he doesn't want to allow him to play his Tahm Kench, especially, as mentioned, because Fake Hero has the attack token next turn and will have priority. And in the same vein, Fake Hero doesn't want to tap below 4 mana while his opponent has the 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 Devour card. I'm not sure. I don't remember the name actually. So now, as you can see here, you just take this pass. There's nothing. I mean, what are you gonna do by not taking this pass? In fact, I think his opponent should actually just take it. Like, his opponent should just use the Tahm Kench's skill anyway because he has the attack token next turn. I think his opponent is overplaying around Tahm Kench. Maybe he's saying he doesn't have Bastion or Hush or whatever, but I don't. It doesn't seem ideal to me. But who knows? Maybe his hand sucks. But for Fake Hero, obviously, it's good to accept the pass. There's nothing better he can do. So here's Sheriff. Sheriff is actually quite strong in this matchup, as you can see here, being able to damage his own units and taking all the favorable trades, and also preventing Fake Hero from taking any good self damages as well. So Sheriff is actually really, really strong in this matchup here, but Fake Hero doesn't. I mean, I think here you just play Soraka probably, but it doesn't. I mean, there's nothing you can do that really benefits you because of how strong the Sheriff is. But I think all you do is play Soraka and then see what happens next, because the idea is that you want to play Tahm Kench, right? So and try to eat their Tahm Kench. But the thing is, you don't have Bastion and you don't have Hush, so you're at a disadvantage no matter what you do in this Tahm Kench war. And because of the Sheriff, he's also gonna be able to claw back the advantage in terms of Star Spring if he deals with this well. So here he pulls the Soraka with the Boxtopus so that he can also grab some of that self damage, which is very nice. Okay, so I'm actually not entirely sure what this is. I mean, I guess the vulnerable is permanent, and Fake Hero does have more mana, so I actually think this is pretty good. He can always do the grab next turn. Fake Hero has no healing from his Star Spring. He gets the extra 1 health. So overall, this is actually a really good pass. Intuitively, you would go for it, but I think it makes a lot of sense for him not to. It makes a lot of sense because he gains more out of this end round than Fake Hero does. So it's pretty good. And now, here, Fake Hero gets some self-damage in, as you can see. And his opponent plays a Broadback Protector. And now, here's a moment where this attack is a really hard decision. So here's the thing, right? So right now, he wants to attack because he wants to grab the Soraka heal support ability before the round end, before they eat the Soraka and deny him the 1 healing. But the problem is that this attack hurts a lot more than it benefits because you're giving your opponent a lot more healing than you're obtaining. All you're getting is 1 heal out of this. Your opponent is getting 3 because they're just going to tank this damage. And technically, you do get the heal on your Boxtopus, but they get the same heal on their Tahm Kench. So this is not a net positive. This is generally not exactly a great idea. And so here's the other thing is, as you can see, they go for something like this, and this is not good because, first of all, if you're gonna go for something like this, the only point of even doing it would be to play like preemptive like Bastion on your 1-drop, which is not good because like the point is to prevent them from Hush blocking it, but like you're starting off with an unfavorable trade. You're giving them a bad trade, and this just well you're giving yourself a bad trade. You're giving them a good trade, right? You don't want to be trading your Boxtopus into their Sheriff. This just, I mean, it does have vulnerable, yes, but this just benefits your opponent so much. They get so much value out of this because you're just damaging their Nexus. You're not taking a single beneficial trade. It just doesn't do anything. Well, obviously it does draw the card from Soraka, yes. But I mean, you're hurting yourself a lot more than you're benefiting. Because you do get a little bit of progress for your game plan, but you're giving your opponent a lot more because ultimately what happens is that this extra Star Spring progress is worth more than a card. Also, this is an astral protection that's giving no health because you had to take such a terrible challenger. And as you've seen, you already know that your opponent is not eager to go for these Tahm Kench Devours. Now here in this position, his opponent chooses not to go for it because they don't, I guess they don't have Bastion or something, or Hush or whatever. But I mean, I don't know what their hand is, so I can't really comment too deeply. So anyways, I'm not, so, whoa, sorry. It's going, I had it on 2x speed, so I'm not actually, okay, so his Star Spring is at 14 and his opponent's Star Spring is at 8. Okay, so he does have a notable advantage on the Star Spring right now, but his opponent has a better setup to take more Star Spring stacks in the next few turns. So it's not a distinct, it's not a winning position basically yet. I'm just gonna skip forward a few seconds. All right, so right now his Star Spring is at I think it's still at 14, and so he okay, yeah, it's a 2-3. That he finally finds an opportunity to play Tahm Kench and be able to play Acquired Taste. He has the initiative next turn, but his opponent could have Bastion and it would be terrible. So when they didn't play the Hush on the Bastion this turn, you could see that they didn't have Hush because they would have used it. But that doesn't mean it's worth saving the Bastion either, because if you save the Bastion and you play Tahm Kench and then you play Acquired Taste and then they Bastion their Tahm Kench, which is the only answer either way, then what happens is that they're gonna have the initiative next turn, the turn after anyway. And so they trade Bastions by playing their Acquired Taste after they Bastion yours, and then you have to play Bastion anyway, and then they have the initiative again. So there's no point saving the Bastion on the Soraka there. So now in this position, he should just open attack and heal for 4, because again, it comes down to the Star Spring. Sure, the Acquired Taste is nice, but they probably have the Bastion, and being able to heal for 4 is just more valuable than assuming they don't have than winning the Tahm Kench war in the situation where they don't have Bastion. So here he's looking for Hush, and I think he should have healed the Boxtopus, because the Boxtopus can damage itself, or it has the potential to damage itself and allow you to take some more to re-damage the amount you healed. But here, when you heal the Fortune Croaker, it's never gonna take that damage again. So you're not, that healing is health that it would have got anyway, most likely. And here you'll see that he was debating whether or not to play the Pale Cascade for the Hush when deciding on the stack. But now what happens is he decided against it, but he chooses to play Pale Cascade anyway right after. So what happens is, yes, technically he didn't draw the Hush, but if you should, obviously I don't expect you to do this all the time. You don't always plan out your whole turn at the start. There's sometimes a lot to think about. But when you can, you should try to plan ahead and think about what you want to do this turn. And since he ended up doing Pale Cascade anyway, he should have done it on the stack. He might have drawn Hush, gave himself a bit of extra options. So right now, his Star Spring is at 17. So if he healed for 4, he could have brought it up to 21 and just essentially had lethal this turn. And it would have been very difficult for his opponent to threaten the same lethal. Because they would have to heal 9, which is difficult, even if they get blocks and health from those blocks. So now he goes up to 20, but he gives his opponent a lot more chances to get their own healing in. Actually, no, my bad. Was it at 17? I think it's at 17 now. So it would have been at 18. No, it still would have been lethal because he would be able to get the 3 extra damage. My bad. It is still lethal, but it would have been a bit more difficult to do. He would just have to play both crusty codgers basically. And also, actually, since he had the since he top decked the shakedown, you could have got the extra damage from there as well if you needed to. But you probably don't open attack with the. Actually, no. It ends up working out that way. Actually. Wait, hold on. What is his? Okay, no, it's at 19 now. It's at 19. He healed for 3, so it was at 16. Well, it was at 14 plus 2 from Guiding Touch. It would have been plus 4 from Soraka, so it would have been 18. It would have been 20 with Guiding Touch. Yeah, it would have been lethal. It would have been lethal. Between Star Spring, Guiding Touch, Soraka, it would have been lethal. So now, in this position here, there's 2 more blunders that happen in this game from here. So I actually did slow down the video, but if you take a look, he actually doesn't even have to, because he's at, well, actually his opponent has the attack token. This is still good, but here, his opponent plays a second Sheriff, which means they get. I mean, Sheriff is again really strong here, and they actually have Astral Protection, so the opponent also has lethal. But both players make a blunder here this turn. So as you'll see here, right now he needs to save his Tahm Kench, because right now he has 2 units with a ton of health and no damage. He has 3 units with very little health, but they're self-damaged. So what you have to do is get some saving on those damaged units. So Tahm Kench should just eat up that Fortune Croaker and go to 8 health. And when that happens, Tahm Kench will survive. You'll be able to just play your new Crusty Codger and then play Shakedown on your Soraka, and you'll be able to heal 3 at the end of the turn. So you'll have lethal this turn. He should definitely eat the Crusty Codger. It's actually the same thing if he eats the Soraka, by the way. It doesn't actually matter. It's just that the 5 health is sufficient, so it's technically recommended to go for it. But it's the same. Yes, the wounded units are going to die anyway, but that's because his opponent has to do it. And now the Tahm Kench is killable, and it means that he's not going to be able to heal for 3 at the end of the turn. So what happens is, let's just go for it a few seconds. So he has nothing he can play, so he has to skip block. And so here, he can't actually heal for 3 this turn. He has no way to heal for 3. So, and his opponent actually has Astral Protection. So as you can see, this unit is damaged 3, this unit is damaged 2, and this unit is damaged 2. Their Star Spring is at 17. So if he heals for 3, then the Star Spring will heal for 2, and they'll have lethal. So if we win, we play the second Bayou Brunch, then it would have been a tie game because both players would have had lethal this turn. However, he thought his opponent thought that the 2 Star Springs trigger simultaneously instead of going left to right, and they used Astral Protection on the wrong unit. So what happened was they used the healing on this unit. This Star Spring triggers at the end of the turn, goes to 21. Then this Star Spring triggers and increases this to lethal range, but because this already triggered, it doesn't actually win the game. this turn, and this star spring is too low. So let me just. So basically, Fake Hero should have won the game by playing last turn better, by open attacking last turn, and then Fake Hero should have drawn the game by playing Bayou Brunch, and then his opponent, Boomer from NA, should have won the game by playing Astral Protection on the correct unit. But in the end, both of them missed out on these three situations, and finally the game comes to an end this round. None of the decisions really matter. It's obvious that it's easy for both players to set up their Star Spring to lethal this turn, so I'm not really gonna talk about that. I'm gonna use this to make my exit. So this game was actually submitted by his opponent here. He did send this game, and I did not end up analyzing this game extremely carefully with all the minute decisions, because I don't think it's practical. I don't think you can take much away from that if I were to talk about these little decisions where the differences and the pros and cons of each decision is so minor. I try to focus on things that you can take away, apply in a reasonable way in your own games. Things that you can, it's expected and normal to think about in a game, and approaches that are usable, applicable, and actually useful. And those are the things I want you to take away. Things like taking the pass on turn 3, his opponent making good passes, sometimes mistakes here that you can learn from, etc., etc. And the focus, of course, is the long-term plan, understanding how to maximize your ability to achieve the long-term plan. And that's what I did focus on, but there were minor mistakes I did point out. But again, there were a lot of decisions where it's not really feasible for you to compare the probabilities of one decision versus the other in a game of yourself. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, you are an excellent viewer, and I will see you guys next time when I get some more games.